Oregon's shooting woes have been evident the last 3 games. The Ducks have shot no better than 35% in any of those contests, all losses. If they're going to have success in the Pac-10, Oregon knows it'll have to get better from the field. Here's Dirk Weissar.
Well, try as they might, the men of Oregon just couldn't quite close out historic MacArthur Court with a victory. Shooting troubles, again a problem for the Ducks. 4 of 16 from downtown and just 32% from the field in the game.
Well, I thought our guys played hard. We just didn't play smart defensively or offensively. So that was a disappointment. That's my job, you know, to get them to play smart, and we're not doing that. Obviously, shooting the ball can cover up a lot of those sins, but when you're not shooting the ball well, defensive mistakes and turnovers really show, and they did tonight.
It's just tough when, you know, they pretty much they're collapsing down, so it's making us kick it out. So we have to make those shots, you know, to open up the floor and, you know, open up our offense so we can, you know, make plays for each other.
The shots are falling in practice. It's just when it comes game time, it's a little bit different, and we just got to get used to Pac-10 play. The speed of it is completely different, and like I said, I think we're going to catch on and begin shooting a lot better.
The Ducks will now head out on the road to the Washington schools to see if they can improve that shooting next week. Reporting one last time from Mac Court, I'm Dirk Weissar for Inside the Pac.
Thanks a lot, Dirk. Former Duck Aaron Brooks was in the house for the final men's game at Mac Court. Brooks led Oregon to the Elite Eight in 2007 and was in town as the Houston Rockets prepared to play the Portland Trailblazers on Sunday evening. Brooks was one of many Duck stars over the years who helped make the pit a tough place for opponents.
This is a great building. It has a lot of history, but it's the people, you know. As long as the people pack Mac Court, then, you know, it's going to be just fine. And, you know, it's a good place to play basketball. But, you know, as long as you got the pit crew still, and you got the fans and Eugene, just the whole atmosphere, you know, it's going to be just fine.
And speaking of Matt Knight Arena, just days away from the opening now, crews putting the finishing touches on the $200 million facility. Earlier this week inside the Arena Bowl, they were working on getting their system down for putting the floor in places. They'll have to do that in short order once things in the new arena get rolling with concerts and other events. The first game January 13th against USC. The Oregon women will play their final 2 games at the Pit this coming weekend. And one of the topics for discussion after the game against Arizona State was Oregon's shooting woes, and maybe the fact that they have lived and died by the 3 over the years, but maybe the new arena will help them maybe cure some of those woes.
Maybe those rims will be a little more forgiving and kind of bounce a few in. And, you know, they haven't been in there yet to kind of see what the shooting advantage is like. Certainly they'll do that after they go up to Seattle and Pullman. But, again, lacking that go-to guy. You know, last year Malcolm Armstead kind of came on and kind of was a real captain of the team a little bit. But you look at the last game, he played 29 minutes, only 4 points. Not wholly looking to shoot a whole heck of a lot for him. And the looks are pretty good for the most part. They're just uncontested. And again, the teams are saying, go ahead and shoot, and we'll let you beat us from the perimeter, but it just has not happened yet.
Well, the Ducks' lack of size, I think, really catches up to them in this regard. Typically inside, but then on the threes, when they're getting pressed out and they're shooting under duress, you know, Oregon doesn't get many easy shots. They're outsized at almost every position, but it is kind of makes you scratch your head when you see a guy like Garrett Sim, who was so well thought of in high school as far as being a shooter, recruited by Cal, sort of changed his mind and went to Oregon, and now can't hit the broadside of a barn.
It's one of those things like a Rick Ankiel kind of thing. Like, you lose your pitch, you lose the touch, and when does it come back, or will it ever come back? It's kind of gets to a mental thing at this point.
Yeah, well, we're just about to wrap up this season premiere edition of Inside the Pac. When we return, we'll crown our Kings of Court for the opening weekend. Court Kings are coming up. All right, a little bit different opening weekend in the Pac-10 with games spread across the board from Wednesday all the way to Sunday evening, but we did find some candidates for our first Court Kings of the year.
Yeah, hopefully this isn't a new trend. We're going to start spreading them out 7 days a week, but we'll go back to Gill on Thursday. A breakout start for Joe Burton. He says he's about down 30 pounds from his freshman year and looks like it helped. 17-9 off the bench, and that's a big key to be his first win over Arizona State in 3 seasons.
All right, my scholar goes to Washington's Matthew Bryan Amening. Posted a game high with a double-double at Pauley on Friday, 21 points. 10 boards for MBA, helping the Dogs to their first conference opening road sweep since 1976, and really looking the part of that Pac-10 favorite, at least early on.
Come back and grab that crown. Our last court king goes to a real jewel. What opened in 1927 saw its final men's game on Saturday. Mac Court, of course, in its 84-year run, the men of Oregon won about 65% of their games. The real last game ever at the pit will be this Saturday when the Duck women play Washington on Saturday afternoon.
We've had about 5 of those last game evers. All right, talking some football now. It's game week for the undefeated Oregon football team, which landed at Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix on Sunday, one day ahead of Auburn, who hits the tarmac on Monday. The game itself set for Monday the 10th in Glendale. It will have been more than a month since Oregon won the Civil War and a second straight Pac-10 title. When this game rolls around, you can bet Oregon is happy to be in the Valley of the Sun.
We're excited to be here. We had a very non-dramatic flight down here. It was real quick. Kids are fired up to be here, represent the University of Oregon, and getting a chance to play in the national championship is what these guys have worked for since actually last January when we came back after the Rose Bowl. So we're excited to be here. We got another full week of preparation before we play the game, but we're ready to go.
The Ducks will hold their first practice on Monday, and we invite you to join us next Sunday for BCS Bound, our 1-hour live pregame special from the Arizona desert, as we get you set for the biggest game in Oregon football history. Former players, former coaches, flashbacks, plays of the year, and of course, a ton on tap with the matchup with Oregon and Auburn. BCS Bound Sunday the 9th at 5, and KVAL's daily reports begin Tuesday. That'll wrap it up for Nick Krupke. I'm Tom Ward. We'll see you next week.